what are the best ways that indie musicians can use Groover right now?
So it depends on where you are in your development. If you start and you're just releasing your first track or EP, it could be a very interesting way to reach out to record labels, publishers, managers, bookers, people who could be interested in like working with you at some point. It's also interesting if you've already released tracks and EPs and you're looking for a label or more support, and it will actually work better if you have already released music on your own. But it's also interesting if you're trying to get the first reviews, the first external people talking about your music, because it's going to bring you legitimacy. Even if they don't have a lot of impact, it's important because you can communicate about the fact they share your music, and it's bringing you legitimacy, to your project. So what's cool with Groover is that at any stage of the way, as long as you're releasing music and you have music that is ready, you have an artwork and you have like a social media account, you can use Groover and you can reach out to everyone on the platform. The best ways to use it, the tips that I would give is, there are multiple tips that I would give. The first one is, I would recommend, if you're looking for visibility, to always send your track on release day or after, especially to Spotify playlist creators, because they will need the link to share the track to the playlist, and the link, you don't have access to it before release. So I would always recommend that. Even if it means like it will take time for them to add your track to their playlist, it's not a big problem, because it's good to have traction along the way instead of having everything on the same day of the release. The other thing I would say is like use the filters. So when you're starting your Groover campaign, putting the info about your track, the tags, the language, the release date, is then using the filters by types, by the genres of music. Another important thing is to not put too many genres. Really focus on like maximum 2 or 3 or 1 if it's possible. Also put them on your profile, because it will help us recommend you the best creators and professionals at the top of the list. So I would really recommend like really trying to decide what your genres are, and not put like jazz because you have 15 seconds of saxophone in your track. It's really important to focus on like what would someone external think your track is. It's not about like putting yourself in a box or anything, but just like, if you were to like have 100 people listening to music and you have options of genres, what would like 90 people say your music is in terms of genre? It's what's important there in terms of like focus. And then I would say like fill in your profile as much as possible with all the information needed. It's not always done correctly by artists. So it's very, very important to look professional and to show why you're contacting people. And then another thing is to really follow up the ones that accepted to share your music. After a week, send them an email, putting again the information about your music and about your track in your email, so that you ensure that they would share, they will have everything they need to share it. It really makes a difference. And to nurture these relationships with you build on Groover is super important. That's basically like the big advice I would say to someone who's starting off on Groover.